The morning watching that fucking Meghan Markle special, and it sobered me right up.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Maureen. Meghan Markle posted a bizarre video on her social media yesterday, which sent several people into absolute meltdown.
The morning watching that _ Meghan Markle special, and it sobered me right up. Oh, I'm so sorry. Killed your vibe. Did you watch all episodes of this? No. I will go hard in the paint when Meghan's worst nightmare comes true. And the internet can't stop laughing. In a catastrophic twist that has left Meghan Markle reportedly seething behind the scenes, conservative YouTuber and political commentator Megyn Kelly has sparked a firestorm with a viral parody video that mercilessly mocks the Duchess of Sussex. The segment, which featured Kelly alongside fellow critic Megyn Kelly, has reportedly pushed Meghan over the edge. Reminds me of your wedding cake. And he's like, I tasted your wedding cake. And I was like, that's a weird thing to say. Who says that? And the reason he said that, it soon became clear, was because he went to the tasting with her. So much so that insiders now claim she is threatening legal action against Kelly. But here's the kicker. The video didn't rely on rumors, speculation, or exaggeration. It simply held up a mirror, and the reflection was apparently too raw for Meghan to handle. What started as satire has now ignited a fierce cultural and legal showdown that reveals far more about Meghan than her carefully curated PR team would ever admit. I just threw this on. I don't know how I got to be wearing this entirely cashmere white outfit. MHM. In the kitchen. There was a juxtaposition there. You're right. And then Mindy says to Meghan, she starts asking her to break down. What makes this worse is that the parody didn't fabricate. It merely exaggerated what many already see, a tone-deaf, narcissistic, fame-hungry former royal still trying to cash in on a royal connection she claims to loathe. And the internet, it didn't side with Meghan. It roared with laughter and applause for Megyn Kelly's performance. The parody video was short, sharp, and devastatingly effective. Kelly and Callahan portrayed Meghan as a self-obsessed, delusional influencer trying to heal the world. And she is the most insecure person I have seen in the public eye in a long time. That is why everything had to be perfectly curated. It was like that's the biggest absurdity, with overpriced jam jars and yoga poses while conveniently ignoring her own hypocrisy and privilege. It wasn't just funny. It was a mirror held up to a woman who critics argue has crafted her entire brand around victimhood and half-truths. The fact that Meghan took legal offense only amplified the parody's point. According to inside sources from Montecito, Meghan's legal team has already begun exploring defamation options, claiming the parody was harmful, defamatory, and intentionally cruel. But here's the twist. Satire is protected speech. Our mint and then cut our flowers that are edible. But don't worry, she's a woman of the people. You can grow those just on your windowsill at home in New York. Your edible flowers. And don't forget your local wax. What? Beekeeper? Yeah, your local beekeeper. Oh yeah, 'cause she has a beehive, which she goes, that's how they open the whole series, with her bees and like, don't worry if you don't have this, just go to your local bee. And Meghan knows this. Her move isn't about truth. It's about control. Control over her image, control over her narrative, and most importantly, control over who's allowed to criticize her. In Hollywood, that's not a smart play. It's a desperate one. Social media exploded just for kicks. I'm like, what? Local beekeeper. And everything that came up was the people who will kill bees in my, like if you have a beehive and you want to get rid of it, here are like the 20 people who will kill it. There you go. Absolutely. Okay. Clearly, we're living in different worlds. Do you have a chicken coop? No chickens? No, just the dead ones in the freezer. With support for Megyn Kelly and Megyn Kelly. Even Meghan's usual sympathizers quietly stayed silent while others openly laughed at the lawsuit threat. You know you've hit a nerve when the Duchess calls her lawyers, tweeted one media analyst. It's the Streisand effect in action. Meghan's attempt to silence criticism only brought more attention to the very thing she wanted to bury. Let's not forget your chickens. Did you catch that? Did not catch that. She literally, Meghan, she has a chicken coop and she talks. So, she brings out, I don't mean to get off Mindy, but she brings out to feed them, a thick disc of ice and chickens. Oh, yeah. And inside that disc are frozen organic vegetables, which she then puts down. Meghan Markle has spent the last 5 years promoting herself as a champion of media freedom, feminism, and open dialogue. But here she is lawyering up over a joke. Where was this outrage when South Park parodied her and Harry as fame-hungry whiners? Or when UK tabloids did far worse? The answer, Meghan is selective. She only supports freedom. Be that much more golden go and nutritious. And then the camera pans to a miniature picnic table. It looks like something that would go in a child's dollhouse on the ground and she says, "Don't laugh at me. That is my picnic table where I put food for the chickens." Okay. In this economy, right? Well, same thing with her dog. When she's the one talking. What the parody truly punctured wasn't Meghan's reputation. It was her ego. For a woman who wraps herself in curated vulnerability and glossy self-importance, being publicly mocked is the ultimate humiliation. And rather than reflect, Meghan lashes out. The woman who once told Oprah she was so misunderstood. Who's Harry's friend's wife from Polo? Again, so relatable. So, some woman from Argentina who's married to Harry's polo player friend shows up. Again, not really a Meghan Markle friend. And for her dog, Meghan makes some sort of biscuits, which of course have only the organic materials. Is now trying to control public perception through legal threats. That's not leadership. That's image management. One of the most damning outcomes of this controversy is Hollywood's reaction, or lack thereof. Major players stayed quiet. Brands didn't rush to defend Meghan. Publicists whispered what many already feared. She's making the bacon because, the dog's just going to love it if it has a little bacon in it. And she eats bacon all the time. She wants you to know in her house. Of course she does. Sure. She looks like it, right? With her size like 00. Okay. Yeah. But here was the other thing. When you talk about the chicknick, I wrote this down just from the episodes I watched. She's got this little like. Meghan is becoming a liability. The more she tries to control the narrative, the more the public sees through her carefully scripted image. With Spotify cutting ties, Netflix slowly pulling away, and her archetypes brand fizzling, Meghan is struggling to maintain relevance. The parody didn't cause the decline. It simply highlighted what's already happening. And her legal threat, like rhyming or making these weird little plays on words that I think she thinks are very clever. Like the first episode they're putting peas in a little pod. She and her makeup artist. And they look like little green pearls. Green pearls. Green pearls. Green pearls, girls. Okay then. It signals panic, not strength. Instead of responding with grace or wit, she responded with threats, proving the parody was right all along. Far from being intimidated, Megyn Kelly doubled down. On her show, she defended the parody as satire and challenged Meghan's camp to proceed. Legal experts say Meghan would likely lose any defamation case but win a ton of bad press. Honey, 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 honey. Then they were cheersing their champagne with her little marmalade edition. Cheers, dear. Cheers, dear. Then there was, it's darling and delicious. Darling and delicious. Then there was the tea following the champagne. Dear. Kelly's growing audience now sees her as one of the few willing to say publicly what others only whisper. What made with love, Meghan sting so deeply is that it wasn't baseless mockery. It echoed the pattern critics have pointed out for years, a woman who plays both victim and villain, demands sympathy while dishing out accusations, and cloaks narcissism in faux activism. Meghan's furious response only validated the parody's accuracy. This saga may just be a blip in Meghan's timeline, but it reveals something deeper. For someone who wanted to be the voice for the voiceless, she's now trying to silence voices that don't flatter her. And in the court of public opinion, that's the ultimate betrayal. Meghan Markle wanted to be a modern icon, but thanks to a parody and a petty lawsuit threat, she may be remembered as something far less flattering, a self-obsessed royal dropout who couldn't take a joke. One of the biggest ironies in Meghan Markle's public meltdown over the With Love, Meghan parody is how it demolishes the very foundation of her personal brand. For years, Meghan has positioned herself as a beacon of female empowerment, a fearless woman speaking her truth against institutions that silenced her. But now, faced with a bit of satire from two outspoken women, Megyn Kelly and Megyn Callahan, Meghan's response isn't resilience, it's retaliation. Rather than empowering women, she's trying to silence them. Rather than taking the high road, she's reaching for legal threats. And that contradiction is costing her. The woman who once asked the world to see her as a trailblazer is now acting like a controlling figure who can't handle dissent, or even a joke. The most revealing part of this entire controversy is not the parody itself, but Meghan's reaction to it. Her decision to go after Kelly with legal threats shows how deeply she fears losing grip on her image. It's not about slander. It's about power. Meghan's PR empire is built on one narrative: she is the wronged, misunderstood Duchess who sacrificed everything for freedom. But Megyn Kelly and Megyn Callahan ripped that mask off with brutal clarity. The skit revealed what many now suspect, that Meghan's public persona is a performance, one carefully rehearsed and obsessively managed. The moment someone breaks through the script, Meghan lashes out, not with logic or transparency, but with lawyers. Despite Meghan's outrage, the parody didn't rely on personal attacks or conspiracy. It mocked her tone, her language, and her branding. It parodied the performative nature of her interviews, the empty motivational buzzwords, the curated vulnerability. She's made her brand. That's what made it so effective and so dangerous to Meghan's narrative. By going after the parody, Meghan made one thing crystal clear: she can't tolerate even the mildest exposure of her contradictions. And the more she reacts, the more people begin to believe that Kelly and Callahan were right. According to multiple First Amendment attorneys, Meghan's legal team would be laughably outmatched in court. US law is clear: parody and satire, especially when aimed at public figures, is not defamation. In fact, it's one of the most protected forms of speech. This lawsuit would collapse on day one, said one defamation lawyer interviewed by the Daily Mail. This means Meghan's legal threats aren't based on justice. They are designed to intimidate, a fear tactic. And for someone who claims to advocate for freedom and fairness, that sends a chilling message. In a way, Meghan's fury over With Love, Meghan is the final nail in the coffin of her image. She has become exactly what she once claimed to escape: a calculated public figure obsessed with control, surrounded by lawyers, PR consultants, and yes men. She hasn't learned from past criticism. She's hardened against it. And that's what this parody exposed: not just her contradictions, but her complete inability to grow, evolve, or engage with reality. Instead of embracing criticism or using humor to soften her image, Meghan has once again played the role of the aggrieved diva. And the world has seen enough. What began as a light-hearted parody has now turned into a serious reflection of Meghan Markle's inability to coexist with public accountability. Her image is no longer relatable. Her narrative no longer compelling. And with every lawsuit threat and media tantrum, she moves further from the empowered voice she once claimed to be and closer to becoming a cautionary tale about what happens when fame is mistaken for untouchable status.